I'm interested to showcase on a technical presentation level with how it will be going to work and what kind of configurations we have to do and how we are going to store the data in the data engineering level lake houses. So these technical topics we are going to discuss in our today's session. Before moving on to the agenda, I'd just like to give myself a quick background. I'm Rajendra, lead BA engineer at Bosch and a super user in Fabric community, Microsoft Fabric, where I can try to give solutions to the different participants as well as the different users on the platform. And I'm a 4X Microsoft certified trainer, and totally I have 14 years of experience working with Microsoft tech stack only, starting with SSIS, SSRS, and from past 7 years onwards, I'm into the Power BI and mentoring the internally some of the teams. I'm the top business intelligence voice badge, which I have received from LinkedIn, and I'm also one of the organizer from Delhi Power BI user group in India. And if you want to get in touch with me, so I started writing the blogs from last year, so data analytic group, and you can get in touch with me, and maybe if any support or else something from my end, I'm ready to help you. Coming to this topic agenda, what is Microsoft Fabric? I'll just try to give a crispy and what is Microsoft Fabric, what are the personas that are going to provide here, and what is the data engineering, how we are going to configure the data engineering persona in Microsoft Power BI services level, and setting up and configuring the Fabric workspaces. So how we are going to setting up. So this is very, very important on the configurations and environmental variables on the Fabric workspace whenever if you are trying to derive the Fabric workspaces. So it is not going to work on the personal workspaces. We have to derive a dedicated Fabric workspaces and working with data lakes and as well as external tools. We are going to discuss like what type of a shortcuts it is going to support if you want to get it inject the data from external tools like ADLS or AWS, Google, GCP. So how we are going to get it, I mean, I'll just try to showcase you where we are going to get it extracted along with ADLS 2. I'm going to extract a copy method. And finally, like demo. So we will try to discuss about the demo in end-to-end activity, like from creation of the lake houses. And I'm also time permits. I'm going to showcase to you SQL endpoint as well as the coding on the Microsoft Fabric data engineering level activities by using PySpark. Coming to this architecture, if you're observing this, Microsoft Fabric has been released, or else this build has been released last year, 2023, May. So the main idea here, instead of getting the data from different personas, different tools and domains, they're trying to integrate everything in one single umbrella. Like example, if you're observing the first part, data factory related, where I can try to build the pipeline for data ingestion and perform it. And current topic is the Synapse data engineering. So how we are going to use the Spark jobs and how we are going to extract the data, I mean like unstructured or else semi-structured information by using this data engineering personas and data science. Maybe if you are trying to working on the, I mean, as a team, there is a team with machine learning models where they can try to showcase advanced and predictive learning algorithms. We can try to make use of within the same environment or else umbrella Synapse data science tool. So which will be get added in your Microsoft Fabric. Warehouse. So I mean, this is a separate and advanced topic where currently set up also most of the organizations they can try to follow the on-premises. So how we are going to navigate and make use of the Synapse data warehouse like SCD models, we can try to provide SCD type 2 models and real-time intelligence, as previous sessions also cover this event streaming and event houses, like how we are trying to navigate and by using the KQL, like a contextual language with a layer, I mean like a telemetric data or else IOC device data. So where we can try to see the configurations and giving the alert mechanism by using the activator, data activator. So without including Power BI, it's I mean like none it. So here we have a Power BI application as well, which has been integrated with Microsoft Fabric, where we can share the quick analysis or else insights to the business users. And along with it, so if you can observe the data activator, which real-time intelligence part, like notification alerts, alert mechanism, we can try to configure one more person a name called data activator. So backend, you can see here Spark language has been get used and for Synapse data warehouse transaction SQL language and all our serverless compute with this storage area. So if you can go to the last last corner, down corner here, each and every data will be get resides in the form of delta packet format. Like it's a kind of a columnar data, compressed information. So what is this customer 360 finance means? This is the kind of a domains. Maybe I want to get it access the resource like finance domain related stats or else finance related data sets. I can try to get it, make use of these finance related or else a customer 360 packet file formats into my, application, whether you're using the Synapse, data science or data warehouse related. So the main motto here, avoid the replicacy, like a duplication of information. That is the main agenda of using this Microsoft Fabric. So instead of making the duplicacy in the application level and try to configure these activities, we can try to have a single copy of data where we can try to copy and compute these activities by using the backend supporting languages like a Spark, TSQL, KQL, and analysis services. We can bring the analysis to the front-end applications like Power BI. And if you have any queries, please post it in the chat box so that I can happy to help you. Our topic, data engineering. So if you're observing, it is one of the persona in Microsoft Fabric where we will try to design and build the maintenance, the complete infrastructure to collect the data and store the information processed very larger, like maybe in the current real world, we are currently working with huge TBs of information. So in the large analysis part, we can try to configure these activities like a past jobs we can configure and also the batch running process. Like parallelly, we can try to configure in the cluster Spark engines where we are going to write this code. So here, if you're observing, we are going to make use of a notebook to write the code, like which has been supported by the data ingestion part with PySpark by default language. Maybe if you are very good at R language or SQL languages, we can try to configure and shift the languages also. R language, PySpark, even the Python is getting supported. We can try to change the languages for the data ingestion and preparation and working on the further part, like a transformation building. You can see in the center lake houses. So by default, we need to extract the data into the lake house first. Without having the information, we cannot further perform. Like maybe my source is in simple Excel file. Maybe I'm going to showcase to you Excel file or CSV file with the sales information. And it is a semi-structured with comma delimiter. I want to make my data in a completely managed table, like structured information. In such a scenario, what are the activities? How we are going to load the data from the lake house and move it onto the table part we are going to showcase now. And notebook also, we can build a new notebook, or if you want to make use of the existing notebook, we can try to make use of existing notebook also. So we can just try to download this notebook. We can import it into some different, services, and we can make use of it. Like that, data pipeline is there and a Spark job definitions. We can configure the environmental variables. And also, as I said, we can import the existing or else available notebook in our missions. How we are going to enable it? So how we are going to get start with this? So licensing part, it is more chargeable. Maybe if you want to do some trial and error, whether it is suits for our application building, we can make use of the trial license from Microsoft Fabric. So we can enable it from the admin portal. So it's a trial license with the 60 days license will be get available from the admin portal. We can play around it, like whether it is meeting our requirement means we can go forward and we can purchase the license with F64 or else as per the company's data size and issue, levels. And maybe if you are working with a small data sets, we can try to configure with the trial with, for testing part, not for the real-time projects. So we can try to test it. If it is working, then we can try to configure the lower license with starting with FT1 and F64, F20 is the licensing SKUs, which has been available in Microsoft Fabric. So these are all we are going to configure in the tenant part. Maybe if time permits, I'm going to showcase you that where we are going to configure this tenant settings with admin portal. If you have an access to this, we can configure it very easily, or else if you don't have an access in our working missions, we have to check with the admin team and then we can just try to have an access with the trial account. How can data engineering part is going to help for the companies? So if you're observing, we can perform or else transform the data after ingestion of the data very larger information. So without any like slowness or else I mean I have extracted recently with one of the file with trillion record 1 trillion. So it has been taken less than like a 10 minutes approximate number approximate because I'm using the trial account. And also if you're trying to perform on the advanced business intelligence like advanced business and as well as the data analytics tool like spark engines level, we can try to configure and complete things has been one lake architecture. So where we are going to reside this data, how we are going to collaborate with the available information means we can have a one lake, we can have particular workspaces from there, we can configure it, we can extract the information into your, whenever you can get started with the data engineering personas. It's a simple architecture. If you're observing this on the right hand side, data sources, shortcut enabled, and structured unstructured information like managed and unmanaged source system. So I can try to extract the data as a part of shortcut from the file source extraction with ADLS sources. And as I said, GCP and also the AWS bucket source system. I can inject the data into my lakehouse like structure. So it will be get supported with the data sources like on-premises SQL Server, and even if you are using Azure cloud-based environment, Azure SQL database, we can try to extract it, and we can build on the top of the pipelines and data flows also, and we can get it stored the data into the lakehouse. And further part, if you're observing the lakehouse notebook level, we can try to work it on for the ingestion, transformation, and the connected tables. And also we can build a medallion architecture where the data, copy of the data will be get resides on a bronze layer. The extraction part will be get stored in the bronze layer as per the backend source system. If you want to get perform some transformation, we can get load into the by using these languages, as I mentioned here, notebooks or data flows. We can get stored after the data transformations. We can get stored the information into the silver layer, and finally, ready to use source system or else a data connectors, we can try to bring it onto a gold layer. So in this way, we can try to perform data transformation activities like Medallion architecture we are going to follow as per extractions, and we are going to call it as a data mesh as well. And finally, the ready data. We are going to consume it from the lakehouse by using the application's name called Power BI. So which will be get stored the data, I'm data, it will be get stored in the form of direct lake. So in between, maybe if you want to get work on the SQL analytics endpoint too, like a configuration part, in Lakehouse, it will be get supported as a read-only method, read-only. So we no need to insert the data in the lakehouses. We just have to read the data. DML statements will not work on the lakehouses. And further part, we can try to get it visualized, and also we can make use of the complete semantic model for further activities. Like on the top of it, we can build a quick analysis, or as per the dedicated layout or else portfolio wise, we can try to build by using this this as part of an architecture. I'm going to showcase to you so both how we are going to extract the unstructured and also the shortcut part. One more architecture if you're using here, if you're observing down corner, understanding the data engineering. As I mentioned, the data will be get resides and stored in the form of a Parquet file format. As I said, it is a columnar data which has been compressed source system. Like maybe I'm extracting very huge information. It will be get stored in the form of a KBs, as per the data, MBs kind of a thing, which has been customized, and also the compressed information will be get resides on your lake house. And the table information will be get resides as a Parquet file format. And tables, we are going to call it as a Delta Lake partition file format. So we can showcase both the file, how it will be get stored, and the log files with a Delta Lake partition, we are going to showcase. So in between, if you're observing, there is a transformation. So where we are going to perform the notebook files, we can create the data ingestion, we can do the transformations inside of it to make our data in a cleaner way. So for that, we are going to use, as I mentioned, different languages, which has been supported by default PySpark. Maybe if you want to make use of other languages like Spark or Spark SQL, these languages also will be get supported on your notebooks level. And finally, as I said, from the tables, which has been structured information, it will be get pull into your, from the lake house to your consumption part, data consumption part by using tools like Power BI. So either you can try to move it and to the warehouse by default, or else maybe we can try to create on the top of ad hoc report analysis by using Power BI application too. Features, if you're observing, it's a fully scalable, so no downtime and fault tolerance. So if there is, we don't need to, maybe if the node is getting filed automatically, another node will be get executed like high concurrence model, we can try to configure here. And also batch under streaming process. So parallelly on a single notebook, we can try to perform multiple, like we can, if we have to configure that on the environmental variables part, we can try to make use of same application in the real-time manner. Best practices. If you're observing here, maybe I have loaded a complete data and I want to get it reused for different or else new projects. We have a data governance also, which has been incorporated in Microsoft Fabric. We can try to make use of those assets as per the access control, as per the policies. We can try to reuse for the new development as well. So data governance has been inbuilt, which has been supported anywhere, Microsoft Fabric. And data anomaly detection, we have it, and data integration, which we already discussed. There is no restriction to extract the data. Maybe if it is a particular source, means it's not like that. We can extract a number of source systems as per our data extraction and building the data engineering activities with the transformation and loading the tables into the different, separate segregation of the tables into your model. Let me showcase to you. If you have any queries, please post it in the chat box. So hope you are able to see my uh, web page. I have get connected to the app.fabricmicrosoft.com. Maybe if you want to get connected to it. So two ways here. You can type app.powerbi.com. You can type this. Another one is app.fabric.microsoft.com. That one also it will navigate. We can navigate it from the Power BI to the, because it's one of the persona from the cloud application itself. We can see it here. So from Fabric, left-hand side down corner, Power BI, these are the different personas as per the tools. We can make use of our, as per our activities and build. As I mentioned, currently I'm using the trial Fabric trial license, which is going to expire after 34 days left. So you can also get it. Maybe if you want to try with this, you can get it configured with the trial account only, so that if it is fits for our business models and if it is fits for our regular day-to-day activities, we can go for the further connectivities with the Microsoft support team and get the licenses accordingly. Like by default, F64 on the top. Maybe if our data size is very high, we can go the further SQs on the. Fine. So here you can see it here as I have configured with the trial account. So 64, and the regions also you can get it configured. I'm currently configured with Southeast Asia region. So you can see those activities in the capacity level, capacity settings here. And if you want to get turn on this one, as I mentioned, you have to navigate to the settings, gear icon here. You can see the admin portal, try to select it and search for the Fabric, so that you have to get it enable the Fabric trial account. You can see here. Okay, maybe my system is slow. Yeah, here you can see it here. I have enabled for my organization. Fine. So what are the different personas? So let me get connected to this fabric.microsoft.com. So this is the front end view which we are currently observing. You can see all the personas from Power BI to the data ingestion part, Fabric, data factories for the building the pipeline, and the data activity for the notification and alert mechanism. So as per our request or as per our project deliverables, we can get it connected and we can explore these functionalities are the components. So currently ours is an Synapse data engineering. How we are going to get it load the data into the lake house. So what are the further, like, as I mentioned, like how we are going to navigate to the SQL data analytics endpoint, and also visualization query, how we are going to configure the visualization query and the notebook preparation I'm going to showcase now. For that, if you're observing, currently I'm using Fabric environment. So we need a dedicated workspaces. So how we are going to configure the dedicated workspaces, not our personal workspaces. This is our personal workspace. You can see my workspace is my personal workspaces. So we need to have a dedicated workspaces. So I'm going to create a quick new workspace, giving the name as Fabric Conference. You can see the licensing part here. You can see the what type of license mode I'm currently using. So currently I'm using as a trial account, Fabric trial account. So it's in Fabric trial account. So apply for this. So workspace has been get created, MSF online conference with Fabric content. So how we are going to incorporate or else extract the data. So as a part of our demo activity, I have already opened one of the GitHub CSV file. I'm going to download it with the same name. Sales is the table. It's a CSV file. If you're observing, I just created the workspace. So how we are going to get it imported? As I mentioned, we need to create a dedicated lake house. So from the initial onwards, I'm showcasing now, we need to have a dedicated lake house where to reside our data and further activities like maybe I want to build on the top of notebooks for the data ingestion or else some more tables I need to pick up. I can do the further activity. So here, new item, select it, click on the new item. You can see the different ways of data getting ingested like a data pipelines, data flow gen 2, multiple approaches are there. So here I want to create a lake house now. So how we are going to create? So if you can go little down to store our data, we have a lake house. Select it. We have to provide a name here. This is currently in the public preview. So lake house name without any spaces, try to provide the name. So MSFD. Okay, that is the lake house name. Whenever, if you create a lake house, you can see two items. One is in folders. One is a table, another one is a file source system. So in the Explorer part, Lake House Explorer, you can see two things, two folders. One is the tables, another one is the files. Files is something, maybe if my data is unstructured or semi-structured. In such a scenario, I can try to get it, extract the data from a files. Maybe I want to get connected the tables from structured information, like example Azure SQL database. I can directly extract the data from these tables. So how we are going to do that? So you can see the three horizontal ellipse button here. Three horizontal ellipse button, select it, new shortcut. So you can see without copying the data from your lakehouse, new shortcut. So how we are going to pull it? So you can see here, I'm just trying to log in with this shortcuts. These are the source system which have been getting supported. Like as I said, ADLS Gen 2, Azure, Amazon S3 buckets, GCP storage area. Fine. This is a completely structured information. Fine. How I'm going to extract the files which I have downloaded just now, like this semi-structured information. You can see here on the three horizontal buttons, here ellipse buttons, select it, upload. So are we going to upload the file as a single file or maybe in a folder multiple files that are available? So we have to get the information from a multiple files, then I can go with the folder extraction. Maybe I want to get it, extract the data from a single file. I can make use of upload a file, single file. Okay, so let's try to extract it. So it's as simple as easy. So based on the network speed and the bandwidth. So this is a file, upload it. Maybe if it is already existed, we can make use of an overwrite the file, already existed file. So it's a 3 MB file only. So which has been get stored in your MSF DE Lakehouse. So where it is, so we have to get it refresh here. So either you can use here the refresh option or on the files part here also you can see the refresh option. So both the ways, anyone, you can make use of the refresh here. Refresh, this is the file information. So if I'm selecting this sales.csv as a preview, you can see then with a comma separator, you can see that information, which is a semi-structured information, not a structured information. So how we are going to navigate or else make this table as an structured information. And before moving on to that structured information, I'll just try to showcase you something like a properties, what is going to hold here. where this particular file will be get stored. So we can make use of it URL link. It will be get stored in the one link. And blob storage path, you can see the ADFS file path, file system path. You can see those details and information, how it is, what type of a file it is, properties part. Fine. How we are going to load this semi-structured information to the table. So as of now, table is blank, nothing is available. Maybe you want to create some folders, we can create it. We can create the folders also. You can see here, right click, new subfolders also we can create it. Like each and every, sorry, each and every file we can try to create it as a folder format. We can use new subfolder and try to extract the each and every subfolders as per our business rules. So how we are going to move this semi-structured information to the table like a structured information. So currently the table is blank. If you can observe here in this folder, nothing is there. It's as simple as easy. You can see here the three dotted options. Select it, load it to the table as a new table. Load it, click on this, giving the same name with the delimiter comma separator as per the extraction. Load it. Maybe if you want to change it, you can change the new table name also. I'm using the same table name. Load it. As I mentioned, it will take as per the loading part also, as per the network speed and the bandwidth configurations. So you can see all the notifications here. After this fabric trial, you can see there's something like a notifications. Whatever the activities you are trying to perform, you can see all the information here. Maybe our team member is performing some activity. We can see those configurations and mechanisms also. And this is my table, which has been loaded into the tables part, table folder with sales table. So I'm just selecting this one. You can see the complete view in the form of an how we will look over in the database, like on-premises SQL Server, or maybe if it is available in our Azure SQL, you can see the structured information in this way. This is a completely structure. Okay, fine. How it is going to store? This one also I'll just try to showcase to you. Please observe here, maintenance part, which has been recently added. Like if you want to get it optimized, my source system, we have to get it configured. By default, it is configured. And also maybe there is, I want to get it, remove this particular file every 7 days, threshold. We can try to configure the vacuum also. So by default, it is turned off. If you can try to select this enable button, we can configure this vacuum command also. Like we can delete, or else maybe as per the Spark engines, it will be take it as a reference. We can configure this part also. Run it. I just mentioned as a 7 days. On the top corner, if you're observing currently notifications, optimizing the file because I have configured that one along with the vacuum cleaner. So it's configuring, and here this complete information is getting stored in your lake house setup. So from here, we can navigate to the SQL endpoint analytics. We can see here SQL analytics endpoint. We can configure this and we can write the statements also in the lake house, only supported with read only, no DML statements. We can select it. On the top of it, we can try to optimize. Like maybe I want to, instead of extracting all the columns, I can try to reduce it. Like maybe 4 to 5 columns I want. I can modify it. This kind of and similar activities we can try to perform by configuring SQL Analytics endpoint. And before moving on to the SQL endpoints, you can see here manage one lake data access to. So where you can configure either in the folder level or even the accessing part. It's just almost similar like an role level security, like a workspace admin, like a member role. We can try to configure this, but still it is a preview feature, preview here. So maybe I'll just try to create a new role and read, write, these kind of roles we can try to define here. Sales, all folder, save it. And here we can try to assign to this particular. So here, maybe I want to add this person, add it. Here the permission role, as I mentioned, read, write, reshare, executive, all. So we can configure the role, role access also here. So assigning the roles anywhere to get it access anywhere, stored information in your lake houses. So just try to provide read all and save it. So like that, one by one, we can try to configure. Maybe in future, we can see the bulk grouping also. Like maybe if you have a huge number of people, we can try to configure the information also. lakehouse permissions. Fine. See here, few more important things that I just want to showcase now here. By using this data set, you want to prepare as a new semantic model. We can configure for Power BI related activities. So example, currently one file is a sales file. I want to make, maybe if I want to have multiple tables, I can bring the connectivities, relationship between one table to the another table, like by using the semantic model from here, from this lakehouse. No, I just want to do further extractions, further ingestion of the data, as I mentioned, right? If you want to perform some Spark related jobs, for the data ingestion and for further transformations, you can make use of a new notebook, or maybe if there is any existing notebook, we can try to configure like this. So existing from the one link. So maybe we'll just try to configure with project it's going to be open in another window. It's not to be in lake house. You can see the almost similar way as like a lake house, but on the center you can view the notebook with a different multiple cells on the right hand side and left hand side, which workspace or else a lake house you have been get connected. Those information and details will be get available on the left hand side, like a resource wise and lake house part. So this is one of the previous executed. So in this way, so the data ingestion, and even if we can try to convert to a table, and as I said, languages. What are the languages that will be by default will be get support? By default, as I mentioned, PySpark. So if my team is having a capability of using different other languages like Spark, Scala, SQL, Spark SQL, and R languages. We can try to configure here and try to work, try to design, for the data ingestion, performing the data transformation, loading the tables into your model, semantic model in the lake house. So in this way, we can try to configure. It's as simple as easy. So I'll just try to showcase it very quick, 1 minute as per the time. Either you can configure here and each and every cell, notebook cell, you can see the Spark Python. So here also you can try to configure. Additionally, HTML also gets supported. So we can try to configure. So, I'm getting some requests like how we are going to configure these libraries, like make use of visualization like a cburn or else matplotlib. So we can try to use the environmental variables and we can configure those libraries also. We can configure it. We can run this command and we can see these visualizations. By using this Spark or else maybe the Scala languages, we can try to define these visualizations. So how we are going to configure the multiple like a concurrency. So here by default, it is standard session. Maybe I want to make use of the multiple sessions should be configured. I can configure with this new high concurrency sessions too. And these, each and every jobs or else those cells, how we are going to schedule it, scheduling part. So here we have a settings option as well. You can see the settings button. You can schedule like the frequency part minute wise. Just try to showcase minute wise, hourly, daily, or else weekly. These jobs, these cells will be get executed, and we can see the latest information which will be get stored in our lake house. So as per the locations, we can configure and sensitivity labels too, like confidential, high confidential, general information, and all. We can configure it. I'm just showcasing the one of the executed one connected file. So from here also we can import the data sources, like you can select it from the lake house. We can try to get connect and we can import the different files which are going to store or else available on the different lake houses in an each and every different workspaces as well. And 1 minute, sorry. I'm just navigating back to my lake house. So as I said, how we are going to configure the SQL analytics endpoint. So here, by default, the data will be get stored in the SQL part, sales file. If you can try to convert sales SQL analytics endpoint, you can see the similar view as how we will try to open your SQL database, like SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio, with a different, currently by default, it is supporting DBO schema. Coming releases, like as per the FabCon conferences, which has been held yesterday, there is I mean, we can create the different DBO schemas also. Like instead of DBO, maybe I want to give it as a region-wise schemas. Those configurations also in the pipeline. So where we are going to see it, schema part by default currently it is a DBO. You can change it to the different schemas too. So where we can try to integrate and move the another schema to this current model or as a current exploration part. Whatever the activities, like you can observe here, DBO schema, this is my sales table. And also we can create the views. We can create the views configurations, we can do it. And the executable queries, we can save it. So my queries here, we can save the executed queries too. So maybe I'll just try to use a new SQL statement. So you can see the data in the center. You can write just try to drag and drop and then you can execute it. So maybe I'll just try to save this for the future references. SQL select rename. So it will be get used, reused the similar query for the future references here. So you can see this. Select. Fine. This is where the executed data may be. I want to quickly showcase some ad hoc analysis by using this data set, by using the sales table. You explore this data view, which is the currently preview feature. We can make use of this, explore this view. So visualize it with whatever we have to select the complete statement. Explore this. So we can try to build the quick insights, quick visualizations, and share this analysis with the customer too. So you can see the share option here. So we'll just try to drag and drop and items, as simple as easy. And on the top of it, you can try to build filters also. Like maybe I want to filter with some of the items, not all the items. We can try to use the filtration. Save this as a part of a preview and share this report to the customers. And if you're observing, there is a down arrow. Maybe in future, smart narrative analysis also we can try to see on this explore data part. Like smart narrative means as per the connected table or semantic model, we can see the complete statistics. Like we kind of a summary, we can try to build it by adding the visualizations on the center. I'm just trying to close, save it. So is there any possibility to perform like Power Query editor activities? Like maybe I have a sales table. I don't want all the columns. I want to do some grouping, and as well as I want to perform the count of orders. Is that possible? Yes, we can perform these activities too by using visual analytics. So once it is will get saved, I will showcase you that process too. Hope everything is fine. Maybe if you have any queries or else, maybe if you want to get it asked, let me know so that I can. So as I say, see here, I'm not able to close this. So let me refresh. It has to be closed by once it is getting saved, but it's not happening. So it's a still preview features. Some of the not it released as in public releases. Fine. Schemas. This is my table. Okay, sales table. As I mentioned, I want to perform some more data transformations on the top of it, like which we are going to call it as an pipeline building. So how we are going to navigate it here. So from here itself, new visual query, we'll just try to select it, new visual query. You have to see the drag and drop your table. So maybe if you have a multiple tables and you want to combine, merge it, you can perform those activities also as on one single table. So currently you can see the source database table information. Down, you can see the connected table information also. From here also we can get it to visualize the quick analysis and we can share the analysis to the customers too. Fine. How we are going to perform the data transformation? So where is the transformation activities we are going to do here on the visual query part? Here on the transformation above here, you can see some of the transformation like manage columns, transformations, combine the tables if you are extracting or else if you are importing multiple tables, we can perform it. So currently, I'll just try to choose two columns, that is sales order line and order line number and sales order. These two columns are, which is very important for me to build a quick analysis You can see the information, sales order line and sales order line number. I want to perform a grouping on the top of it. How we are going to perform a group? As I mentioned, so we can perform the data transformation activities, which is online Power Query editor data flows part we can perform here. So these are the transformations which are getting supported on the new visual query. So perform it. Sales order, item details. Almost we can see the similar view in the Power Query editor too. So distinct values, sales order line. And if there is any almost equivalent match with one field to the another field, we can use the Fiji selection also. I mean, like what is the threshold, 100% or else a 95% up to this part, we can configure this one. So select OK. It is going to be a one more transformation. You can see sales order number, item details. So for each and every order number, you can see the item lines, item details here. Two orders. 512 we have one order, 484 we have four orders, and so on. By using this data set, again, are we going to prepare the data visualizations? Yes, it is possible. So here we have an visualized data, visualized result, connected result. You have to select it. It will be prompt for the Power BI window. You can see the Power BI window is getting loaded. By using these two columns also, you can prepare the data analysis. So you can see the visual query, item details, sales order line. So you can prepare the insights, you can save it as a report, and we can share this analysis, ad hoc analysis to the customers. Fine. Where we are going to see the complete SQL statements. So here it is, you can see the view SQL. So backend, whatever the activities you have performed, like a grouping and extractions part, like using the derival of, we can see the complete SQL statement. We can execute it in a way. If it is connected Oracle, maybe if it is in database, we can execute it and we can see the result also, how it has been executed, and we can see. Maybe I want to edit the SQL script and I can want to perform some more transformation. If I'm capable to write the statements, I can edit it. I can do some more like joinings and so on here on the view SQL script. Few more things I'll just try to showcase to you here, like configurations part. You can select it as a plus button here to see all the transformations, data transformations, or some transformations are available in the top. You can perform and we can make use of these transformations also. And settings part, here also we have a settings like in Power Query Editor, we will see the data qualities, like for each and every column, what is the percentage, validity percentage, or maybe I want to see is there any null data like empty records, or else maybe if there is any errors, those configurations also we can set it by using this settings option in this visual query. So here, data view. So currently I haven't enabled anything. So I'll try to enable column profiling. Sorry. And let's try to enable this column quality checks. You can see the validity percentage, empty and error records. So these configurations we can done it here on the data view part. Fine. Connected this table, I want to prepare a complete analysis, a kind of a report, how we are going to perform this. It's as simple as easy. From the same view, current view, which we are in the SQL endpoint part. Here you can see in the down corner, modeling. So select the modeling. Along with your sales table. Only I have sales table, right? What about the remaining tables? Remaining tables are catcher files and log files. So I don't want to view these log files. So how we are going to turn off these log files except sales table, which is available in my DBO schema on my MSFDE. So how we are going to turn off these, log files. Here we can try to configure manage date, default Power BI semantic model. We can select it. The table, only one table. If you have a multiple tables means we can see all the tables list also here. Confirm. So you can see the similar view as like Power BI reporting. So on the top of it, you can build new measures, calculated measures, not in new columns. Calculated columns are not work anywhere. Power BI services, like in the modeling level, only new measures will be get created. So we can create the new measures too here, like maybe as per my data, I just want to calculate revenue sum of two unit waste will work. Sales table quantity into unit price. Close it. Only the measure I'm creating, revenue measure. So you can see this measure once you navigate it to the new report. New report. Currently, I'm not able to view it. So select the new report. So we want to build on the complete data set level a new report, sales table, I mean sales related stuff. Click on the new table. You can see the similar view as like a Power BI desktop level. How we will try to view it once you open the Power BI desktop. You can see the similar view in this way. So here you can make use of a different charts or different visualizations. Even the custom visuals will get supported. You can build the model. So here, sorry, I'll just try to quickly showcase to you, and then a few things I just want to showcase, that is an environmental variables where we are going to configure that. In this way, we can try to prepare the data visualization. So Copilot currently, as I said, it's a trial release, so it will not work. Copilot activities like writing the statements and try to derive the visualization. That activity is not available on the Fabric trial release. Maybe in future we can expect this. Okay, isn't available, so we can save it, and everything will be get available on your workspace, MSF online conference workspace. Please. Okay, so this is my workspace, MSF online. So you can see here whatever the activities. So I have built a lake house. You can see the type of lake house. I have a semantic model, that is a sales table, and I have prepared some SQL statement with some of the queries. Like I have optimized, and I have just selected few of the columns and just make use of in one of the quick visualizations. And here you can see the whatever the activities, exploration part, object exploration part, and your main report. So in this way, we can try to design from end-to-end activities like on the data engineering part. So I have showcased the code as well. So how it will be get performed and what type of languages it will be get supported. So those are all the languages which will be get supported on your data engineering prospect. So last but not the least, I just want to showcase you environmental variables where we are going to get it configure. So on this workspace settings, you can see on the workspace, MSF online conference. So workspace settings are there. So here, data engineering, like maybe the short new pool, if you want to build it, or else maybe if you want to reuse the existing pool, we can configure the Spark settings here. Like maybe we'll just try to open here, new pool, like a node configurations we can try to perform here. And sometimes where we are going to configure the environmental variables. So in the same workspace, select it. Just type the environment variables. Maybe I want to use one of the notebook with word cloud. So we can create the environmental variables with word cloud libraries too. So let me create library. We can use it. Instead of using the default workspaces, we can use it. So here we can try to import the add libraries like cloud, save it, save it in this way. So publish it. So we have to publish it. Otherwise, here we can configure the versions as well for the workload. Python PL programming site. So you can publish it. Then only those changes will be get added. So publish it all. So in this way, we can try to make use of these activities and data ingestion as well as the external libraries. We can try to get it import. We can configure environmental variables and the public library variables. It's still loading. In the meantime, if you have any queries, please post it in the chat so that I can take your queries. As I said, it depends upon the speed and network. So I'm currently using the trial relay, so it will be like that. Spark properties also we can configure it, and compute engines like library Spark compute engines also, like drivers, memory size, these configurations we can try to use it. As I mentioned, right, currently I'm using the default pool. If you can create a new pool, so we can configure the drivers, memory space, executable memory space, and so on. So where we are going to configure the environmental pools on the workspace part. So this is my workspace. Here 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 you have to configure. So you have to configure here, like example, quickly I will showcase to you. New pool, small data, data, small node. So you can configure the auto scaling, create it, create it. So these configurations will be get available on the environmental part. So let me showcase that also, and then stop. See here, libraries. So refresh. Lot of new releases are coming up on this data engineering prospect. So yesterday there is a fabcon event which has been conducted from Microsoft. So maybe if you missed, just try to observe there. So you can try to configure. Currently it's still environmental variable with the default layout. So progress, still it is going on. So you can see this here. I mean, currently the default, if once that has been loaded and available, you can see this, still it is loading. You can see the new pool activities too. So where we can try to compute engine part, we can add the drivers and the memory space. By default 56 GB, we can try to configure lesser also, or increase with the TBs too. Fine. So main agenda here of using this Microsoft Fabric with data engineering part, you don't have any replications of your data. We can get the information from the stored lake houses itself. I mean, it will be get avoid the duplications. And the data will be get stored in a one lake. Whatever, for each and every workspace, we can create the lake houses. From lake house, we can try to extract the information from one lake. Where it is going to reside means one lake. And the platform is integrated, where all the platforms, like from the data integration, like by using the Azure Data Factory to data governance, we can try to find all the applications, all the softwares in your Microsoft Fabric. And one security, where we can try to configure, I showcase the configuration part. Either you can configure the folder level, even the table levels too. And one compute engine, where we can try to configure the centralized, admin portal part. So fine. As I mentioned, it is a one-stop solution for all our data analytics need. So for the data extractions to the building the data visualizations, in between lot of tools like data engineering, data science related, and even the real-time intelligence, we have it. And even the data governance, which has been recently added, and alert notification, data activators are also available. Fine. Thank you. And if you want to, as I said, if you want to get in touch with me, you can connect me in the LinkedIn. Thank you so much. And I would like to thank David for giving me this opportunity to present my topic at Microsoft Online Fabric event. Thank you so much.